Yeah, if she really likes him, then this is just one problem. Maybe help him improve his hygiene, right? Okay, so something I used to do whenever I was a dating coach is go through r/dating advice, and I used to leave like advice on here. You know what's crazy is like this forum, this Reddit is always active with so many people maybe giving too much information about what's going on in their lives, but it's spicy, right? So I was thinking the other day, I was like, okay, during my breaks, like what can I talk about? What could maybe be like something I can clip, easily take over to YouTube? And I was like, okay, let me just go through r/dating advice, maybe some other forums later on. I'll get some more, but you know, this is strong. Just read them, talk about it, because that's kind of what I do. I literally, I'd be on the train sometimes and I would just look through these things and reply to it simply, see what they have to say. First time dating, amazing guy on paper, but I felt no spark. I, 22 female, have been talking to a guy, 29 male, for a couple of weeks. On paper, he's everything I thought I wanted. Respectful, consistent, sends me cute texts, checks in, has money, has a great personality, and we're from the same city. Honestly, he checks every box. Problem is, I don't feel like I have fun with him. I don't laugh around him. His texts feel cringe to me, even though what he says is nice. Whenever I know I'll have to call or meet him, I feel stressed instead of excited. I also don't feel physically attracted to him. What confuses me is that I've had crushes on other guys before, and with them I felt an instant spark. I was physically attracted, had fun, and felt lighthearted just being in the company, even though things never worked out. With this guy, I don't feel the same way at all, which makes me wonder if something's wrong with me, or if it's just not the right match. This is my first time dating, so I don't know what's normal. Should I wait longer to see if attraction or comfort grow, or is this a clear sign to move on? So, my honest opinion, whenever it comes to your type on paper, that's not the type that you're attracted to, because your type on paper is just a list of things that are like to have, but you don't actually have enough input to say what you're attracted to. It's just what you want, maybe what you need, what kind of qualifies a guy or a person to be in a relationship with, right? But it doesn't take into account, like she said later on, the physical attraction, more of the vanity part of it, which if you have an ongoing list of a type of person you want, I would lean more on the vanity side of it, because it's easier to make a list and understand what you want in a long-term relationship, right? You want somebody who's respectful, consistent, sends cute texts, checks in, has money, and a great personality, right? But that's not what makes attraction work. What makes attraction work is, what does his face look like? What is his style like? What is his tone of voice? Is it higher pitch, lower pitch? What are you attracted to, right? Does he work out? So does he have muscles, or do you like something that's more of a dad bod? Do you like somebody with a sense of style? Does he wear longer socks or shorter socks? You know, these kind of vain things are actually what's going to trigger your attraction. And I know that women like to say that they don't really pay attention to physical things, but they do, right? You need those physical things. And then second to that, after the physical attraction is there, you start looking at an emotional, intelligent, and spiritual attraction, right? And it's more of these things that are on paper. So with her, I think she's going into it expecting the list to just work. And I think it has a little bit too much priority on this guy to perform at a certain level without actually seeing him for who he is, right? She's found out, okay, this guy checks the boxes, so I should be into it, right? But she's not actually paying attention to him or letting herself release and enjoy himself. Now, if she doesn't feel like she's having fun with him and she's not laughing, then I would say, okay, well, is that just a mixed match of chemistry? Are you not allowing yourself to have fun with it? As a woman, typically, you bring more color and life to a conversation than a guy does. Guys just aren't as good, typically, at conversation, but maybe they're better at like kind of leading the way or creating the opportunity for you to fill the space. You know, the guy is generally the canvas, and a woman is generally the color or the paint on the canvas, right? And together you can make some kind of cool artwork. That's how I see dating, right? So you as a woman, I would say to this 22-year-old female, go into a date having fun. Like if you go on a date, make sure it's something that you would have fun doing even by yourself or with your girlfriends, right? Do something where you could have fun. It's not putting the pressure on a guy to make it fun for you. You see what I'm going with this? Like, don't put too much pressure on a person to perform to your expectations without knowing whether they can do that or not, because then you'll just be disappointed. You should go into a situation to where you'd normally have fun and be most yourself. And whenever you're most yourself, that'll bring out more of the character of the guy, especially if he does meet these things that you have on paper. Like, he's consistent, he checks in. Those things are great. You know, you want to have those, but women will always say those things are boring. It makes it boring because it feels like you're already in a relationship where you have those things. There's no spice, right? So of course, have that list, have those boxes checked off, as many as you can. That's great to have, but you need to let yourself have fun in dating. And if you're not doing that, it's not their fault that you're not having fun. It's not their fault that you're not laughing around him. Like, you have to create those situations for yourself to where you would already be enjoying yourselves. And if you don't know that, then maybe spend more time with yourself to get to know how you would be able to be yourself or have fun in those kind of situations, right? If you're having anxiety or you're feeling stressed, I think that that's an underlying issue. So I think it's stress because you're over expecting what the date is supposed to be, rather than giving this person a chance just to have fun with you and create a moment, is honestly what I would say. So what confuses me is that I've had crushes on guys before, and with them I felt an instant spark. I was physically attracted, had fun, and felt lighthearted just being in the company, even though things never worked out. With this guy, I don't feel the same way at all. Okay, so it seems like you have a different approach to this guy. You're looking more for the things that would check boxes so that things could work out, but then you find that it's not fun at all. There's no instant spark. I was like, okay, well, what was working before? You were meeting guys before, you felt an instant spark, there was physical attraction, you had fun, and it was lighthearted. So where did it go wrong? Was it the guys that went wrong because they weren't meeting your expectations, like your list of nice to have for a relationship? Or were you not setting your boundaries that allowed it to go in the direction that you wanted it to go? Like, you know, with that long list, setting boundaries around that, you know, telling this guy, hey, I like somebody who sends me cute texts and checks in. You're not doing that enough. I want more of that if we're gonna have a connection, right? Are you setting those boundaries, or you're loose with them? That's why I'd say look into that first method you're going with and see how you can bridge the gap between that and where you want to be next. Because you're focusing too much on, let me just jump ship to this whole other way of dating. And you're already finding out that that's not working with you, right? Because you're dating paper, you're not actually dating a person. That's what I'd say. That's what I would say. So if you anticipate too much about the outcome, then of course it's going to feel boring, because nothing's going to match your expectation. You got to lower your expectation, especially in dating. You should go there more with your own intent to have fun in a space. Like, imagine a situation to where you're talking with somebody, right? And you set up a date, and you go out to meet this person at a date. Maybe you're gonna do drinks and sushi, right? And you get there and you're stood up, which is unfortunate, and fuck that other person for doing that, right? They didn't even tell you. Now you're there at this sushi bar alone. Now what are you gonna do? Are you the type of person to turn away, be frustrated, go home, and be like, shit, okay, I did all this work in getting ready just to be stood up? Or are you the type of person who's gonna be like, well, I'm already here, so let me go in, enjoy some sushi, and enjoy a drink. I can enjoy this by myself, right? That's a comfortable thing that I can do. Even if I'm not comfortable, I'm already here, I already dressed up, let me go inside, right? If you're that type of person who can go inside and still have fun, that means that that date was originally designed for you to have fun. If you would just leave up and go and be frustrated because you got ghosted, yeah, I mean, either way, either option that you choose, you're gonna be frustrated, right? That you're ghosted. But if you just let that crush your day and end your plans and you go home, that's kind of like, what was the point of going out, right? What's the point of going on this date anyways if you weren't already ready to have fun by yourself? That's the mentality that you gotta have in dating. Let's see what some people say. Sounds like you're not attracted to him. Why would you keep dating him? Exactly, right? Like, yes, to an extent, attraction can grow over time, right? Especially if you're somebody who needs an emotional attraction before you can really be attracted to somebody. But there need to be some things that are immediate, that are a little vain, that you are attracted to, right? That's why I think no matter who you are, you got to understand what are those vanity metrics that you love, okay? Like, I think it's easier for guys because we are a lot more vain and we can admit that. And I think women are more flexible on vanity metrics because they are looking for other things that are more genuine. but I think you need the vanity metrics too, right? Do you like a rounder face, an oval face? Do you like broad shoulders? Do you like somebody who's more skinnier? Do you like somebody with a beard, without a beard? Like, have these things in mind. That should play into what you're attracted to. Like, a guy is thinking this way, and you should have the freedom to do that too. If you're already cringing and stressed this early, it's not going to get better. The beginning is usually when the spark feels the biggest, and if you don't have that now, you probably won't have it later. Nothing's wrong with you, he's just not your match. This is so true. 23 female and 31 male, friends with benefits. I recently met a guy from Hinge in my small town. I'm a nurse, 23, and he's a doctor, 31. We work at different hospitals. Our first date was at his house for dinner. Okay, maybe not a good idea to do that, but let's see what else she has to say. Since then, we have kept meeting up basically for comfort and friends with benefits. Okay, good for you. Get your bag. Have fun. However, the past 3 times out of 4 times I stayed over at his, he has brought me hot chocolate to have at his house, and it's my routine at night before I sleep, as he knows I'm unable to sleep with this, so he wants to make me comfortable. He also bought a new bath towel for me because all of his were small, which I had made a comment on. Never have I asked this man to buy me anything. We had briefly joked about how this is beyond friends with benefits. I really appreciate the cute effort he is putting in for me. I think I'm scared to move forward with this, as I'm not sure if I want to settle down, but I'm really starting to enjoy his company. I also don't want to get rid of him and have made a mistake. I also don't want to get rid of him and have made a mistake. Okay, I don't know what she means, what her mistake is. Hey, it's friends with benefits. And it sounds like that you went in with that intention of it as well. You allowed yourself to go into a first date at his house and you hooked up. Great. Fun. You continue to hook up afterwards. Great. Fun. And he's doing all that he can to make you more comfortable whenever you come over to his place. Great. Fun. What's the problem? Nothing really, right? So he's being respectful of you while having this friends with benefits. And as long as you are on the same page with him and he's on the same page with you, that's what it is. I mean, what does it doesn't mean anything that he's getting you like a towel or hot chocolate or trying to make you more comfortable at his place. He's just being respectful to a woman that he has in his space. Great. Embrace that. Why are you complaining? What I think you're complaining about is that you're wondering if this person is somebody that you would want a relationship with, and you made a mistake by making it friends with benefits first. Now, he's 31, you're 23. Even though I don't care about age gaps, I will say that he's somewhere in a place to where he's able to manage his emotions much better than you probably are, if you're thinking that this is something more than what it already is, right? It's friends with benefits. That's what it is. And unless you have a conversation with him that you possibly want to go somewhere else and that's what he wants to do too, then it's just friends with benefits. And you should just, be polite and thank him for allowing you into space to doing those nice little things. Maybe you should do nice little things for him too. It doesn't change that it's friends with benefits or that's like a situationship, right? If you don't want emotions for him, set boundaries for yourself to where you're considerate of his emotions by locking down yours, right? You do the work for yourself. Just because he's being nice to you and doing these things does not mean in any way that he's like trying to attract you into or lure you into an emotional relationship, right? Those actions just means that that's probably typically how he operates. He's considerate and he's just trying to make you more comfortable, right? I think any smart guy, especially an older guy who has experience with women, is going to be mindful of how he can make things more comfortable for you so that you'll keep coming over and you guys can keep enjoying this friends with benefits, right? Even if it was a relationship, a guy would be doing that things or should be doing those kinds of things, right? What makes a difference is whether you've had a conversation with him or he's had a conversation with you about what page you're on. Because if you guys have made it friends with benefits, it's friends with benefits, and neither of you should think that it's something more unless you have another conversation about it, right? Don't read between the lines whenever there's no lines in between to read. If you're in a situation to where it hasn't been stated what this is, then that's your fault. You need to have that conversation with him, right? And it's easy. Just sitting down and it's like, hey, we're friends with benefits. I really appreciate the things that you're doing for me. It's really, really kind, but I want to restate that this is not something that I'm looking for something emotional for. And as long as we're on the same page, we can continue with that. If he is on the same page, good. If he says that he's on the same page and then later on develops feelings and stuff like that, that's his problem, right? Because you already set the boundary, or you already set the page for where you're at, and vice versa. If he tells you that it's just friends with benefits, that's all it is, and then you start getting feelings, that's on you to emotionally manage. That's my opinion on this. I don't think you've made any mistake. I just think that it's a matter of, have you had that conversation that you would be interested in something more, or have you haven't had that conversation that you'd be interested in something a little bit more? Like, stop complaining about him doing nice things, right? I think she's thinking that the setup's slowly evolving into something more serious, right? It's not. it's not. He's just getting more comfortable with you, right? Like, honestly, if you're friends with benefits with somebody and they say that they enjoy using sex toys in the bedroom, and the guy goes out and buys sex toys to use in the bedroom, does that mean that he wants more of an emotional connection with you? No, he just wants more sex with you. I think these things are lining up to be the same thing. He wants to continue having this relationship with you, so he's accommodating you in ways that he knows will make you happier, more comfortable, right? And like, if he was going into your space and you were doing that, that would be a very logical thing to do. Like, even in this situation, you could maybe do a little bit more to like appreciate the time that he's giving you in his space, right? You're not paying rent there or anything like that. You're using his utilities and blah blah blah. You can say all this other stuff, right? But are you, I mean, it's great whenever a woman is like mindful of a guy's space and thinks about things that could potentially help improve it, right? Look at his hand soap. What kind of hand soap is he using? Something generic? Does he even have hand soap or not? He probably does. If he's buying you like your own towel, he probably has his hand soap. But you could go out and buy like, you know, $40 of like a Aesop, really nice smelling hand soap. That way, whenever you're at his place, you're using nice hand soap, right? But it's like a simple gift you can give him to be like, I appreciate you allowing me in your space. That doesn't mean that you're trying to lure him into a relationship. It's just you're being appreciative of that space, right? That's really what it is, just being a nice person, not taking things for granted. Even a friends with benefits situation doesn't mean that you should take things for granted. I mean, you're literally sleeping there. So like, you're allowing yourself to fall in the trap of being more emotional. So yeah, maybe you should have your guard up, but I mean, I'm not here to judge that. You're just wondering if this is a mistake or not. And like I said, it's just a matter of whether you've had a conversation and you're on the same page with him or you're not. Yeah, he's just being a nice person. He's doing things that shows that he's had a woman over before, which is to be expected from a guy who's in his 30s. That's not a red flag. Definitely not a red flag. He just knows how to accommodate another person better. I mean, if you want a guy who treats you like shit, then maybe go get a guy who treats you like shit. Sounds like he's treating you well. Does that mean you want to bag him in a relationship? No. I mean, you should probably get to know him in other ways before you make that decision. To clarify, you're feeling uncertain on whether or not you want to proceed with friends with benefits situation. Do you think you want a relationship instead, to end it all together, or something else? Also, sounds like your arrangement is comfort and friends with benefits. You're not noting the things he's doing for your comfort, you know, like the hot chocolate and towel. You're noting the things he's doing for your comfort as it falls outside of the scope or changes up the vibe of the friends with benefits. And so, yeah, that can be confusing. It's the features of the relationship, physical intimacy, emotional comfort, without the commitment or exclusivity. I think it's easy to get lost in the sauce and catch feelings. Great if you're both on the same page, but if you're not, better to find out and end sooner rather than later before the emotional attachment grows. Exactly. Yep. I mean, this guy's doing good things, and yeah, it can be confusing whenever you're getting both that emotional comfort and the physical intimacy, but without like the conversation, getting on the same page, like, it's just friends with benefits. Okay, good for you. Should think of a question for this sub to give the lamest answers. Okay, yeah, so it's like, your situation's good. Like what do you need help with? You just need help to clarify whether you're okay with the friends with benefits or a relationship, right? And you just need to make that boundary up for yourself. What to do if you really like someone but he has bad breath? I didn't notice it on the first date, but on the second, I could smell it even just walking next to him. I thought maybe he's eaten something on the way and hadn't had a chance to brush his teeth. By the third date, we were watching a movie at his place, sitting beside him. I kept catching whiffs of it. He's kind of a mouth breather too, which made it worse. Honestly, I was too embarrassed to even look his way. I tried putting a little distance between us, but I could still smell it. I was so turned off that I went home right after the movie. I just gave him a quick peck on the lips and left. Would you tell a date to brush their teeth or just move on? He's 35, by the way. Yikes. And I noticed he actually has a toothbrush and toothpaste in his bathroom, so no idea what's going on. This is tricky because, like, it sounds like you're early on in the dates, you're noticing this kind of thing, and you want to say whether you should mention it or not. Honestly, beginning stages, if that's something that's a turnoff, that's an easy fix by just mentioning it. Even if it might hurt their feelings and might be hard to mention, you should mention it, because you don't know what this person's habits are. Maybe they are eating something that's rank. Maybe they aren't brushing their teeth enough, or maybe they just have like bad hygiene that you could smell or something like that, or it's because they're a mouth breather. There's all these things, but that's something that could be an easy fix. Maybe you should just mention it in a polite way, respectfully. Hey, I've been around you, and I just noticed that sometimes you have a little bit of bad breath. Maybe my sense of smell is a little bit too strong, or the smell is so specific that it kind of gets to me. I enjoy my time with you otherwise, but I'm wondering if there's something that you can do more to help with that, right? And it's just a polite way. Maybe it puts him on edge, and if it does offend him and stops dating, then you're kind of already considering not dating him because of his bad breath anyways. Right? I don't think you need to tell them to brush their teeth or just straight out like you have bad breath, bro. But you can say something, and you can come from a good place with it too, right? If there's other things about this person that you're attracted to, this thing shouldn't matter, right? It's just a small habit. You give them a chance to correct it. If they can and it improves, hey, problem solved, right? Tell him about it and see if he can change that. If he can't, decide whether it's worth it for you or not, right? By the age of 35, he should be well into good personal hygiene. That's debatable. A lot of older people still don't get into good hygiene. You know, it could be bad habits, but there's multiple things that could cause bad breath, right? I'm a coffee drinker, and I think drinking coffee, if I hadn't had a chance to brush my teeth, yeah, I could probably have bad breath to somebody too. So I just drink a lot of coffee, and I do brush my teeth as often as can afterwards. But if I'm caught in between, it might be bad breath, right? It could be a deeper issue only a dentist can truly fix. That's very, very true. It could be changing up the type of toothpaste. It could be some other kind of reaction. Maybe he's drinking something that's causing that kind of reaction, right? Like, is this dude drinking a lot of energy drinks and other sugary things, sodas and stuff like that, that could cause more of a bad breath? Maybe you can politely help steer him towards drinking healthier options. I'd attempt to bring it up to him in a kind way and see how he reacts to determine whether you want to continue seeing the person or not. Damn, I lulled at the mouth breather. But yeah, I tell him. Some people don't have a clue unless somebody tells them. Yep. Okay, Healer Moonchild. I can't reply to you because I'm not logged in, but I hope you can see my video, and maybe you can hear about how I phrased it, and you can bring it up with that. Maybe I can come back here and link the videos afterwards. Maybe. Look into it.